They've just cut the prices. And I'm wondering if this because are they not cool anymore? Do people not want them? Is this a demand story, or is it just because the margins were so high?
I still think they're cool.
Precisely.
Big news from Ford this morning, slashing the price of their popular electric F-150 Lightning by almost $10,000.
Gosh, it's been 4 years pretty much at this point in the making, so it's about time we finally got some developments regarding this long-awaited, highly anticipated Cybertruck.
When we start seeing them actually be sold, delivered, how much does the truck even cost? We don't even know.
That was my question. So we don't know how much the truck costs. We obviously got the news from Ford that they're dramatically slashing their costs. I feel like this is a story that's happening in the US, China, these pricing wars. How do you think Tesla will approach the price of this thing and how it stacks up?
All that and more. So let's get to it. Another positive day for Tesla, up 3% today, almost 6% for the week, over 55% over the past 3 months, and over the past year up over 18%. It is no secret that Tesla is doing incredible for the calendar year of 2023. Will it continue? Can it continue? Guess we'll find out Wednesday whether or not Tesla's Q2 earnings can keep it afloat, make it soar higher, or sink it to the bottom of the ocean. My intention was to open an option contract that expired at the end of the week, but at 90% implied volatility, those contracts were expensive as fuck. I have a hard line of 50% to maybe 60% implied volatility when concerning Tesla. 90%, nah, sorry, I just rather buy stock at that point. But the 265 call that I do have that expires on September 15th is looking pretty decent. With a 44% gain, I could take this off the table, enjoy the G that I've made, save a little bit for taxes, mind you, and call it a win. But despite what many of the analysts would have you believe, I am very bullish that these Q2 results will be magnificent for Tesla.
They've just cut the prices. And I'm wondering if this because are they not cool anymore? Do people not want them? Is this a demand story, or is it just because the margins were so high?
I still think they're cool.
Precisely.
For the record.
It's a great time, Kaylee, with these price cuts. So, you know, the headline is that one model, the Pro, is cut by up to 17%. We'd just caution, though, that the Pro is a model that's directed at fleets and commercial use. But the XLT 311A drops from 64,000 to 54,995, and I don't know if that's in your price range, Kelly, but what Ford is saying is two things: improved capacity, they're able to build more of them at higher volume, and also improved cost bill of materials, right? And that I think is really interesting in the context of inflation right now. Stock down more than 4% though.
Yeah, well, maybe not good news for shareholders of Ford, but it is, to Ed's point, seems like a better time to buy, Guy. I've been looking at this since they announced that this truck was coming out because I love trucks. My dad drives a truck. My father-in-law drives a truck. I enjoy driving their trucks. I want one for myself. I just wonder if this is going to be like a Tesla kind of scenario where maybe now's not the time because more price cuts could come. So maybe I just need to watch this space.
A lot of talk today about the Ford Lightning price cut. Much speculation on whether or not there will be enough demand in this market for EV trucks. Something's not adding up here.
And Ford this morning, slashing the price of their popular electric F-150 Lightning by almost $10,000. Yahoo Finance's Praz Supermanian joins us with the latest. Praz.
Hey, Jared, how's it going, man? So yeah, big price cuts here for the Ford F-150 Lightning. Like you mentioned, as much as $10,000 for the Pro base model. But price cuts go across the board, anywhere from 9 to 60% off across all the trims. Plus, Ford is offering $1,000 off this month as an added bonus. So what's going on here is Ford says that they're seeing moderating materials costs and they're improving scale at their Rouge plant. That's bringing down kind of the costs there for producing these F-150s. But the price cuts are coming as inventories of new cars rise across the country, including for once hot EVs. Those inventories are rising even more than traditional new cars. So nonetheless, this pricing plus the federal EV tax credits are making the F-150 Lightning a relative deal right now.
Man, I'm so glad that Tesla does not have to ship their cars to a dealership and rely on old data of whether or not they need to be producing more vehicles or less. Who am I kidding? Tesla's producing their vehicles vehicles at max velocity, expanding current factories to keep up with accelerating demand. There is demand for EVs. I think Ford is realizing that this EV thing isn't as easy as Tesla makes it look. They're already not making any money on their Ford Lightnings, yet they're dropping the price. Well, I guess we'll find out when they report their quarterly earnings, and we'll see exactly how much they're making on each of those EVs sold.
And on the Tesla front, we're talking about the Cybertruck. Finally, it is rolling off the assembly line. I guess critics would say 2 years late, but it is. It's right there. It's on my screen. I can see it. What do you have there in terms of details?
Yeah, you know, the news of that over the weekend causing Tesla stock to charge higher here. Earlier today, hitting levels not seen since fall of last year. But yeah, Tesla tweeting out that pic of that first Cybertruck produced at Giga Austin. Now, like you mentioned, 2 years after Tesla said the Cybertruck would come out, but nonetheless, here it is. Now, what we don't know if this is just a pre-verification build, meaning the truck was just the first to go through the production line and won't actually be put on for sale. So we'll see what Tesla and CEO Elon Musk have to say about that. But it sounds like Tesla is on track for holding that customer delivery event later this year in Q3 and beginning limited production of the Cybertruck at Giga Austin.
Praz, we got another minute, so I'll give you the floor here. Anything else in the mobility space that is catching your attention today?
Well, you know, Jared, just kind of on the sort of the bounce off that Tesla news this weekend, we saw that, of course, Ford today announcing those price cuts. I don't know if it's actually the reason why is because of Tesla's announcing the Cybertruck coming out soon, but maybe that could be the reason. But Rivian also just today released a video talking about the new dual motor powertrain for their R1T and R1S SUV, kind of trying to trump the news cycle here, because I think there is concern that once Tesla gets the Cybertruck up and going, there's going to be a tremendous amount of sales there, kind of eating into the Rivians of the world, and also the Ford F-150 Lightning. And also, there's also reports that Tesla will launch the Cybertruck at a 350-mile range trim, not the 500-mile range from that they've been talking about, at least not right now.
Price of used vehicles is at an all-time low. So Ford's move, to me, has nothing to do with the release of the Cybertruck pending. It has nothing to do with that. Ford is competing with the internal combustion engine used car market at this stage of the game. Ford's job is not to compete with the Cybertruck, because that's an act of futility. And more importantly, that is not who they're competing with. It's the internal combustion engine variant. And you gotta compete on price, functionality, performance, or the consumer is going to go what they're familiar with. You have to make electric vehicles more compelling than their internal combustion engine variant. That's it. That's all it is. Farley and Ford are just realizing that people would rather purchase something that is less expensive and more familiar. Tesla's track record of producing vehicles that are better than their internal combustion engine variant is outstanding. In fact, they're batting 1,000. There isn't a product that they've released that isn't significantly better than the internal combustion engine variant. So much so, in fact, that people are willing to shell out more cash than they ever have before when purchasing a vehicle. The Tesla stretch is real.
For a look at some of the top moving stocks in today's market, I'm joined by Jenny Horn, markets correspondent here on the network. Jenny, thanks so much for kicking off the show with us. And of course, we need to kick things off with Tesla because it's always in the news and reached a big milestone. Its first Cybertruck rolled off the assembly line. Fill us in, and how is it impacting the stock today?
Good morning, Caroline. And gosh, it's been 4 years pretty much at this point in the making, so it's about time we finally got some developments regarding this long-awaited, highly anticipated Cybertruck, which it does appear did roll off, like you said, that assembly plant in Austin over the weekend. We saw a picture on Twitter that was all of the employees surrounding the vehicle, looking very, very happy, finally, I'm sure, to reach this major milestone for the company. And we did see now, several responses that were very enthusiastic. Those that love Tesla have been following along the Cybertruck journey, but this could be one of the most anticipated vehicle launches, at least throughout Tesla's company history, but really of all time, as we did see back when it was unveiled in 2019. It had more than 250,000 reservations for just the Cybertruck, which is very futuristic, very like military looking to me, but it is definitely generating a lot of noise. They are expecting about 10,000 units of this vehicle to go into production this year and to to ramp up to 100,000 units by now 2024. But near the end of last year, the total number of reservations had grown to about 1.5 million. So the demand for this vehicle appears huge, and that's why we're seeing some analysts today update their coverage to the upside. Wells Fargo does maintain an equal weight rating, but raised its price target to $265 from $170. Wedbush's Dan Ives also did reiterate his outperform rating and a $300 price target, which was at one point a street high, but now the street high looking at around $350 a share. But Tesla hanging on to its near 1% gain throughout today's session, and I do think this is typically seen as definitely a step in the right direction, especially those that have been so long waiting this Cybertruck. Now, Musk has been pretty transparent and has said this could dampen some of their growth in the near term, just with the production ramp to reach that 100,000 unit goal. But we'll have to wait and see. I just can't wait to see one of these actually on the road, Caroline, as they are very bizarre, but I'm sort of fascinated with them.
I give you Exhibit A. Jenny Horn finds it odd, but is still fascinated with the vehicle. Don't worry, Jenny. You're not going to be alone in that assessment. 1.5 million reservations. Will everyone keep their Cybertruck reservation? No. They expect to produce a little under 10,000 for the remainder of 2023. And by 2024, 100,000. You tell me if that math adds up. Demand will be in excess of their production for years to come. Many analysts are like, ooh, they finally get some Cybertruck action. Long-awaited Cybertruck is now being produced out of Giga Austin, blah, blah. Timelines become irrelevant when you're doing something nobody in the industry has done successfully. Don't worry. They're going to learn today.
Automakers have come out with some competition, including Ford with the F-150 Lightning, a lot more traditional looking for a pickup truck, if you will. But taking a look, Ford share is under pressure today, off more than 5%, and Rivian off 4% as well.
Right, we're seeing this negative reaction in some of Tesla's closest competitors, if you could call them that. I mean, I do think they do operate in the same space, but just very different in terms of their business models, especially Ford. But Ford, with its own specific news today coinciding with the launch of the Cybertruck, they're actually slashing the prices of their electric F-150 Lightning pickups to nearly 17%, which is one of their deepest cuts to date they've made on an EV model, and another sign that perhaps some of this overall demand could be easing. They did say that the reductions, which did effectively drop the Lightning starting price by almost $10,000, were the result of lower material costs and the company having more factory output. Some versions, though, will get a steeper price cut than others. And of course, this comes after Tesla, which has around 60% of the U.S. market share in EVs through June, did report a surge in its second quarter deliveries that was helped by some of these sharp price cuts. Now, I will say, I can't wait to see the way that this impacts Tesla's margins in their second quarter, which we will get those numbers this week, Wednesday, after the closing bell. So Ford will then be the next leg to discuss how this will impact their margins. Although it's also important to keep in mind Ford has a relatively small footprint still in terms of its overall revenue. It's like 3% of its revenue right now is derived from its EV business. So still a sizable, or a small portion per se. Rivian shares, though, lower today, but they have gained, 43% month to date. At this point, they've been on an absolute tear. Now, their R1T electric truck also has a starting price well above this Tesla Cybertruck. It starts at around $73,000 versus the Cybertruck starting around $40,000. So perhaps this is seen as a more low-cost, more affordable competitor to Rivian, which has also had a banner couple of weeks, but a name that is no stranger to volatility, just given the fact that it's had its own production missteps. So difficult to compare these two, but I have to say, Cybertruck doesn't necessarily seem like good news for either of these companies.
Things first, we don't know what the price of the Cybertruck is going to be. 4 years ago in 2019, there was a projected starting price of $40,000, but with inflation and all that, you know it's not going to be 40 grand. And unless Ms. Horn knows something I don't know. Ford, Rivian, they are not Tesla's competitors in this space, although I did find it funny when Ms. Horn was like, if you could call them competitors, you can't. The only competition EVs have are internal combustion engine variants. Are they cheaper? Did you make your EV compelling enough to dissuade consumers from going to the internal combustion engine? These are the questions you have to ask yourself. Not what Tesla's doing, not what Lucid's doing. You just have to outcompete the internal combustion engine on 4 simple metrics: style, functionality, performance, and most importantly, price. Do that and you won't have any problem selling your battery electric vehicle.
We're digging into a lot of top stories today, and Praz, I know you have your eye on Tesla.
Over the weekend, we finally saw something from Giga Austin, the first Cybertruck rolling off the, it said they were built, it was built in Giga Austin, maybe not coming off the assembly line, but the first Cybertruck there shown this weekend on Saturday. So big news there, stock charging higher here, because the company is seemingly slated to kind of go into production of this truck later this quarter, limited quantities, and hold that potential customer delivery event at the end of the quarter that Musk was talking about. So big news there for them. We'll see if this car that came off the line was actually just a pre-verification build, which is something that just goes through the line, see if it comes out okay. They won't sell it to customers, perhaps. We'll see. Still good news.
Interesting to look at just tracking estimates, right? And we love talking about Wall Street estimates and what these different analysts are putting out there. There are 3 analysts compiled by Bloomberg already that have expectations for sales of the Cybertruck in 2023. The average, the consensus of that is over 3,000 sales of the Cybertruck in 2023. It is July. So I'm just curious what we actually see come Q3, Q4. Those projections are for 70,000 Cybertrucks to be sold in 2024. So this is a legitimate part of the Tesla growth story now and where the company is headed for them to start selling these trucks. So it'll be interesting to see when we do start. It's good that they're being built. It's good that they're being built, but it's going to be interesting to see when we start seeing them actually be sold, delivered. How much does the truck even cost? We don't even know.
That was my question. So we don't know how much the truck costs. We obviously got the news from Ford that they're dramatically slashing their costs. I feel like this is a story that's happening in the US, China, these pricing wars. How do you think Tesla will approach the price of this thing and how it stacks up to some of their other vehicles?
So today, apparently, I saw the tweet. Musk had replied to a tweet about those Ford cuts and said, the Lightning is a good truck, but it's too expensive. And some people took that as an indication that the Cybertruck will come in at a mid-level around the pricing of like the mid-range F-150, maybe around 65 grand or so. So be competitive with the Lightning, but not be crazy expensive. So that was taken as good news. Tesla stock up, Ford stock down, but we have no confirmation of that. You know, I spoke to Motor Trend's CEO a while back, and he said Tesla will be lucky to get that under 75,000. So a range of sort of outputs here or numbers here for what
I wonder how much the pricing more even matters here. When you talk about, is it the same consumer? Is the same person buying the Tesla Cybertruck that's buying the electric F-150? I don't know, right? Because it's probably not the person that drives the normal F-150 that's buying the Tesla Cybertruck.
When I said yes, I was agreeing with you.
Yeah.
I think that there are 2 different buyers. Like the Rivian buyer is not a work truck buyer, right?
Right.
It's an electric adventure vehicle, going out in the wild, going camping. It's not about going to the job site, right? So I think there's 2 different buyers there, 2 different sort of use cases there. And Tesla could still sell a lot of the Cybertruck to these owners.
Yeah, and Tesla reports earnings this week. Do you think the margin story is going to be the top story here to look out for Tesla, especially amid all these price changes that we're seeing across the sector?
I think it is a major point there. A lot of analysts are saying that this might be the trough, the gross margin trough for Tesla. Sink below 20%, and maybe it'll pop back up in Q3, Q4. That's what the thinking is. They already cut the prices. You've taken the hit there. Now it's time to sort of enjoy those economies of scale, sell those cars, enjoy those EV tax credits, at least here in this country, and try to get back above 20%. I think that's the kind of like
so well right now. You wonder.
I mean,
when is the shoe going to drop?
No, people are talking about, oh, well, the stock has run up too much. Elon Musk needs to answer these questions about profitability. I'm like, the stock never trades on fundamentals. So what are we talking about?
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point.
All eyes will be on that automotive gross margin number. Will it impact Tesla, the business? Not at all. But you best believe it will have significant impact to TSLA, the stock. Tesla will lower the prices and increase the total addressable market for their vehicles. Of all the executives outside of Elon Musk, Zachary Kirkhorn is my favorite. The man is a financial wizard, and I look forward to hearing his comments just as much as I look forward to hearing Elon's. In conclusion, the Ford Lightning has lowered their prices, and you best believe it's to stoke demand, not against any of their perceived competition in Rivian or maybe even Tesla. It's to compete against internal combustion engine variants. Giga Austin is being primed to produce a Cybertruck. I wouldn't be surprised if Tesla hit the ground running and produced 15,000 Cybertrucks for the year 2023 and over 100,000 in 2024. You can expect Tesla to be in the news quite a bit as we run up into their earnings on Wednesday. Regardless of the numbers, should be an exciting call. Well, that's all I got for you today. Be easy.
Masaka.
Peace.